Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties, because it's a cold one out there. It is Groundhog Day.
It's the Rover Dave Taylor on another adventure, and this time the adventure continues in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. This is weird because I feel like I did this one before. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, the home of Punxsutawney Phil. That's right, Gobblers Knob and everything. This is where the big Groundhog's Day event occurs. And before we go to Gobblers Knob, did you know that you can visit Punxsutawney Phil at a library in Punxsutawney, just a couple of miles away from Gobblers Knob? Now, when you go to Punxsutawney, the downtown area, you're going to see groundhogs all over the place. And then if you go to the library, you can visit Punxsutawney Phil.
So as you can see, one of them was stirring just a moment ago. You got Punxsutawney Phil and his wife Phyllis inside the little burrow here. This is where they stay most of the time, and of course, they sleep most of the time. Groundhog Day used to mean something. You used to pull the rat out of the ground and you used to eat it.
So the tour continues in the weather capital of the world, and once you leave Punxsutawney's downtown, you come to Gobblers Knob. This is where all the magic happens every year on February 2nd. Now, where did this all come from? And apparently part of this goes back to 1886. There's a group of men from Punxsutawney would gather each summer for a groundhog hunt, but then they thought that, hey, let's replace the hunt with an event in the midwinter, which is a celebration of Candlemas Day, which is February 2nd. And then the tradition on that day is, it all depends on the conditions. So it's a midway point between winter solstice and the spring equinox. So, how much more winter do we have? Well, in Germany, the forecasting on Christmas Day was left to a hedgehog, which of course is similar to a groundhog. And, well, they believe that if the animal came out of its burrow on that day and saw its shadow, it would be frightened and run back underground for 6 more weeks. Say the hedgehog did not see a shadow, then it was time to stay above ground, and that means spring was near. That's how we got to Groundhog's Day.
This is the one time where television really fails to capture the excitement of a large squirrel predicting the weather.
I just want to point out, it's never too early for flapjacks. Right behind me, this is where all the magic happens here at Gobblers Knob. This is where every February 2nd, which, yes, it only happens once a year, we find out we're going to have an early spring or 6 more weeks of winter.
Well, what if there's no tomorrow? There wasn't one today.
This is the view around Gobblers Knob. And if you're wondering how big this area is, well, go up the steps.
This is pitiful. Thousands of people gathering to worship a rat.
Heary, heary, we're on stage. This is where all the magic happens with Punxsutawney Phil. And this is the view, and they jam a lot of people in here on Groundhog Day, February 2nd. They all come out to Gobblers Knob.
You want a prediction about the weather? I'll give you a prediction about the winter. It's going to be cold, it's going to be dark, and it's going to last you the rest of your lives.
In truth, by the way, with the predictions, according to history, Phil's been accurate about 39% of the time, which, hey, if he was a baseball player, that'd get him into the Hall of Fame.
I'm the Rover, Dave Taylor. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate your support. And I predict 6 more awesome road trips in the near future. Maybe more. Hopefully more.